Ever notice how some companies just seem to have these, totally devoted customers? The kind who rave about them to everyone they know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Those raving fans everyone's always talking about.
Exactly. So today, we're going to dig into how businesses actually create that, build that kind of loyalty.
Sounds fascinating. Like, what's the secret sauce?
Right. Well, we've got some really interesting stuff to work with today, looking at the strategies behind it all. And what we really want you to get out of this is, well, actual stuff you can use, whether you're running a business yourself or just thinking about your own experiences as a customer.
Because let's be honest, we all had those amazing customer experiences that stick with you.
Totally. And then the not so great ones, too.
Ugh, yeah. But figuring out what makes the difference can be so valuable, even just for understanding those interactions better.
Absolutely. And the advice we're diving into covers a lot of ground, from the basics of great service to some more, I guess you could say, strategic ways to build a real sense of community around a brand.
So, ready to jump in?
Let's do it. Where do we even begin with turning regular customers into those diehard fans?
Well, the first thing that really jumps out from the material is this emphasis on consistently delivering a remarkable experience. It's not just about being good enough.
Okay, so let's break down remarkable. It's got to be more than just one wow moment, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
This isn't about a single interaction. The source material we're looking at really highlights the whole customer journey, before, during, and after any interaction.
Okay, so what does that actually look like? I mean, for a business that's really trying to build those raving fans, what are they doing differently?
Well, imagine it from that very first moment. A potential customer encounters the brand. Is it easy to find information? Like if they go to the website or call with a question, is that initial experience smooth and intuitive?
Yeah, that makes sense. First impressions matter, for sure.
Absolutely. Then, of course, you've got the actual transaction itself, which obviously needs to be positive. But then, and this is what often gets overlooked, there's the follow-up. Are businesses actually checking in afterward? Is support readily available if any issues pop up? You have to think about the whole journey.
And it's more than just, generally being helpful, right? The source really stresses being fast, friendly, and helpful in every single interaction.
Yeah, almost sounds too simple, maybe.
It does, but I bet the challenge is consistency. I mean, we've all had that one great interaction with a company that doesn't get repeated.
Totally. And that's where it gets tricky. What's interesting here is that the source really focuses on actively eliminating friction. Think about those moments when you've been frustrated as a customer.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Like a checkout process that's way too complicated, or when you can't get a straight answer from customer service.
Yep, all those little annoyances add up. Companies that are serious about creating raving fans are almost obsessed with making every single touch point as easy and positive as possible.
It's like they're trying to anticipate those frustrations before they even happen.
Exactly. They're thinking ahead. Now, the source gives Chick-fil-A and Apple as examples of companies that are known for this.
Oh, interesting. What is it about their approach that seems to deliver so consistently? Because you do hear those stories about Chick-fil-A's customer service even when things go wrong. And then Apple stores, they're practically designed for a smooth experience.
Right. It's like they've really thought it through. With Chick-fil-A, even if the drive-through line is crazy long, there's often that same politeness and efficiency. It feels reliable, like you know what to expect. And with Apple, well, it's that focus on user experience, both with their products and in the way they handle support. They've built a reputation on that.
So it sounds like consistency is a huge part of it.
Definitely. It makes you wonder, what are those one or two brands that you, listening right now, consistently have good experiences with? What are they doing that keeps you coming back?
That's a great question to think about. All right, so we've talked about the overall experience, but the source goes deeper, talking about making it personal. The idea that people connect with people, not just faceless companies. So how can a business take that customer relationship beyond just a transaction?
This is where that relationship building really gets interesting. The source highlights a few tactics that are actually pretty simple, but super powerful.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, even just using a customer's name. It's small, but it signals that you see them as an individual. And remembering past interactions or preferences, like a previous purchase or something they mentioned liking, shows that you're paying attention.
It's that feeling of being recognized, isn't it? Makes it feel less transactional.
Totally. And the source also talks about tailoring offers and communication based on a customer's past behavior.
Right. How does that contribute to that personal touch?
Well, imagine you get an email or see an ad, and it's clearly related to what you've bought before or something you've expressed interest in. It doesn't feel like a generic blast, you know?
It feels like they're thinking about you specifically.
Exactly. And that creates a sense of value, like you're not just a number. It's a much more personalized approach, which really builds that connection the source is talking about.
It's like the difference between getting spam and getting a recommendation from a friend.
Perfectly put.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not just about talking to customers, but really engaging with them. And that brings us to the importance of listening.
Okay, listening. Sounds obvious. But how do businesses actually do that? I mean, beyond just saying they do.
The source makes it clear that effective listening is active, like it's something you have to work at. It involves setting up ways to get feedback, things like surveys, direct conversations with staff, and actively looking at what's being said online, in reviews, and on social media.
That makes sense. Those channels give you so much information about how customers actually feel.
Right. And the key is what you do with that information. Just collecting it isn't enough.
So it's about taking action based on what you hear.
Absolutely. The source emphasizes that it's not just about acknowledging feedback, but actually making changes because of it. When customers see that their suggestions or even their complaints lead to real improvements, like maybe a product gets redesigned or a policy changes or things become more efficient, that's when they get invested.
Because they see that they have a voice, that the business cares about what they think.
Exactly. And when a business actually shows that they're listening, it just strengthens that connection. All right, ready for something a little more fun?
Always. What do we have?
The art of surprise and delight. It's about those unexpected gestures that go a long way.
Ooh, I love this one. What kind of examples does the source give?
Lots of great ones, actually. Think about getting a handwritten thank you note after you order something online, or a free upgrade that you weren't expecting. Maybe you order something and there's a little bonus item tucked in, or even getting a call after you've used a service, just to make sure everything went well.
See, those are the things that you remember.
Right. And the point is, it's unexpected. It goes above and beyond, and it shows the customer that the business is thinking about them, on a more personal level. Yeah. And without expecting anything in return right away.
It's pure goodwill, and it creates that little moment of delight that sticks with you.
Exactly. And those small gestures, they can have a big impact on building loyalty. It creates that positive feeling that can turn a satisfied customer into someone who actually wants to tell everyone how great the company is.
Okay, so we've talked about the good stuff, but let's be real. Things don't always go perfectly. The source also talks about turning mistakes into opportunities.
Oh, that's so important. I mean, that's a make or break moment for a lot of customer relationships.
For sure, because even the best businesses mess up sometimes. So what sets those raving fan companies apart when things go wrong?
The response. The source lays out a few key steps. First, you have to own the mistake, no excuses. Then, offer a sincere apology. And I mean, really mean it.
That makes a difference.
It really does. Then you have to resolve the issue as quickly as you can, and ideally, do a little something extra to make up for the inconvenience.
And I'm guessing follow-up is important too, just to make sure the customer's happy with how things were handled.
You know it. So basically, you're taking a potentially negative experience and showing the customer that you truly care about making things right.
It's almost counterintuitive, but it feels like a well-handled mistake can actually make you trust a company more.
It's true. The source makes that exact point. When a customer has a problem and sees a company go above and beyond to fix it, it can actually increase their confidence in that business. They see that you value them and you're committed to doing the right thing. So, yeah, you can turn a negative into a positive.
Okay, next up, building a community. What's the thinking here?
It's about shifting the focus from individual transactions to creating a sense of belonging among customers.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So how does a business actually build a community around their brand?
There are a few ways. The source talks about creating online spaces where customers can connect with each other and with the brand, like dedicated Facebook groups or forums. Then there's showcasing customer success stories and encouraging people to share their experiences and create content.
I can see how that would work. It's almost like you're building a movement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even organizing real-life events or meetups, if that makes sense for the business, can create connections in the real world.
And all of that taps into that human desire to be part of something bigger, like a tribe almost.
You got it. And when customers feel like they're part of something, they become more invested in the brand success. It's not just a company they buy from, it's a community they belong to.
Makes sense.
All right, last but definitely not least, the source talks about empowering the team.
This is huge. Because your frontline employees, they're often the ones who are actually interacting with customers. They are the face of the brand.
So how do you empower them to create those raving fan experiences? Well, empowering them means giving them the freedom to make decisions that put the customer first, without having to jump through hoops or get bogged down in bureaucracy.
So they can solve problems and make customers happy without having to, like, go through 10 layers of approval.
Exactly. And training is crucial too. Regular training that focuses on empathy, communication, and problem solving. That gives them the skills they need to handle all kinds of situations.
It feels like that creates a positive cycle, right? Happy employees create happy customers.
Totally. The source points out that when you recognize and reward employees who go above and beyond for customers, it just boosts everyone's morale. Employees feel valued, they're more motivated, and that leads to better experiences for everyone.
So it's a win-win. Everyone benefits.
Absolutely. So to kind of wrap up our deep dive into creating those raving fans, it really boils down to this. It's a deliberate, holistic approach. It starts with consistently delivering exceptional service, making those interactions feel personal and valuable, actively listening to feedback and making changes based on what you hear, adding in those little surprises and moments of delight, handling mistakes with grace and turning them into opportunities to build trust, fostering a real sense of community around the brand, and of course, empowering your team to be the best possible ambassadors.
And these aren't just theories, right? These are actual strategies that businesses can put into practice right now.
Exactly. And as the source reminds us, these deeply loyal, raving fan relationships, they don't just happen magically. They're built through genuine effort and a commitment to putting people first, always trying to add that extra bit of magic to the experience.
Which brings us to the final question posed in the source material, and it's a good one for all of us to consider. What would it take for a customer to be so impressed that they tell 10 friends about us?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. It makes you think. So taking everything we've talked about into account, what's one small but significant step that a business could take, like today, to inspire that kind of word of mouth? It's a powerful question, and not just for businesses. It applies to our own interactions and relationships too. After all, creating those truly positive connections where people feel valued, maybe even a little delighted, well, it makes things better for everyone.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.